Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. I'm Sarah Martin with The Contoured Chemist. You'll have to excuse me if it sounds like I've lost my voice a little bit. I just got back from conference. There was a lot of yelling, very little sleep. I'm still recovering, but I had to show you guys all the new goodies because there are new releases that they announced at conference that I was able to get my hands on first, and they're coming this Friday. So I had to shower and I'm gonna do a get ready with me and share with you guys all the newest collections, my first impressions, because I have not had a chance to try any of them. So let's do this. If you wanna keep watching, please sure to like and subscribe, and thanks for being here. Okay, friends, so I did not realize until I started talking on camera that my voice is not normal, but that's okay. We're just gonna roll with it, and I'm gonna do a lot of experimenting today. So I have tried the blush. I lied. I did try the blush, but that's it. That's all I've tried so far, and I want to show you guys all of it, even though we have 3 new highlight shades. They are not my colors, but if you've ever watched my channel before, you know I am a big believer that you can wear more than just one color. It's all in the combination of shades, and it's all about understanding the shades. So I'm gonna experiment. It might be an epic failure, and I might have to take my makeup off, but I'm gonna show you what I'm gonna try based on the one time I swatched them. We're gonna go with it, all right? So first things first, I'm gonna show you a couple of, I'm gonna show you one of the compacts. I will be honest, I didn't get the other color because I love all things black and white, and this one came with the collection. This is, now I'm gonna have to look up the names. I don't know if I can actually pronounce it. Noir, I might have to put this on the screen. Let's see. This is Noir Demier. I don't speak French. I took Spanish. The Blanc is like cream and white, and this one's more like black, and this is actually cream in real life. You can kind of tell next to the white. It's very subtle. I'm obsessed with black and white. You'll see that in my next house when I get to finally move. I have a lot of black and white. It's like my jam. So I bought this one, and then I got a big kahuna, and I'm gonna switch my makeup over to this one. But this is the new palette you guys have been waiting for, and checkered print, and it comes every size, 4, 8, 12, 18, and 27. So this is the 8. I'm gonna save this one for a giveaway, so I'll give this away to somebody. And then I grabbed the big kahuna, which is the only one I use for my personal makeup, the 27, because I need lots of room. Now, I believe this is an artist exclusive, but you will probably see artists using this. And so before I get any questions, if you see artists using, this was the themed palette for our event, which was called Wildflower. It was the coolest theme, and so you'll see one of the things that is getting ready to launch is also in this print, but I believe this was just they didn't tell us for sure, but usually in years past we've had like gifts in our swag bags, and they were only, and I could tell from the label, this was the like logo of the conference, because this one has that, and this is our true embossed logo. I can tell they're not gonna sell this one. So I'm sorry if you see artists using it. I tend to not use stuff like this because I know you guys are gonna want it, and then I feel bad. So let's use the one you can get, and I'm gonna start dropping some of these new shades in it as I talk about them. Now, let's start with what I feel like I can talk easily about. So the first thing is, this is the Seint Balm. Okay, so if you've been with Seint for a while, you probably have seen, we had the Demi Balm, which I always keep in my compact. It's like the small size. Okay. It was also coconut scented. So they decided, since that was discontinued, they made a full-size version. This one is unscented, and I'll kind of explain why when I show you how I'm going to show you multiple ways of using it later. But for now, you can use it as a moisturizer. I'm going to show you how you can use it on other areas of your face and how you can even use it on your eyes here in a little bit. So that's Balm. Whoops, I was going to actually drop this in my compact. Okay, so this one is unscented, unlike our lip conditioner. So if you've been waiting for an unscented lip conditioner, here's your chance. I'll be honest, I've always preferred the Balm over the lip conditioners. It's something about the consistency, and I do feel like it's more multi-purpose, so it's my favorite. I'm excited that they actually came out with a full size. I will keep my little ones for my like clutch, my travel compacts, but this is a good one to keep in your compact. Okay, now we're gonna go with the exclusive lip and cheek. So they are selling this in years past when they've had a color, whatever it might be, that is the same as the theme of our conference. It was a limited edition. So they didn't say specifically, but I have a feeling it will be. I'm sure we'll know more information once it hits the website. It'll probably say limited. So this is Wildflower, and this is the satin, and it's a pink, which is why I picked this shirt. Can you tell? So I did try it once, and it was really pretty on the cheeks. So I'm going to show you guys how I use that in this look. Pretty little 10. Don't look at my nails. I didn't even have time to take off the polish. I've got some missing ones. Ignore them. Okay, and then we have the biggest hype, which is 3 new highlights. And if you've been with Seint for a while, you know it is very rare. It's not very often we have new highlight shades, but these are some of them that we've kind of asked for. I was on the Seint committee this past year. These were requested by us and artists, and I'm excited to try them, and I think a lot of people are really gonna be able to utilize these shades. I'm super stoked. So I'm gonna start with the darkest one. I love to show these pretty 10s. This is Fiji, okay? So if you wear Muse, this is a warmer version of Muse. So to show you a comparison, let's drag out. These are all the highlights we have currently. Okay, Muse is our very darkest shade. This one, same depth, more warmth. Okay, so Muse is more cool. Fiji is a little bit warmer. If you're not new here, you probably, as my earring gets stuck to the magnet, Muse was one of my go-tos before we got our darkest bronzers. I would use this as a bronzer. So you might be able to guess how I'm gonna try Fiji today. I'm excited because it has a little bit more warmth than Muse. I bet it's gonna be a great bronzer shade. Next, we have the highlight shade Nutmeg, okay? So on first glance, I was like, all right, Seint told us it is in between the shades Goddess and Papaya. So there's Goddess, there's Papaya. Can you see that? Okay, so I'm gonna try it, guys. I'm gonna try it. I am nowhere near dark enough to try this, but I'm gonna show you how I'm gonna make it work. So that was Nutmeg. And then last but not least, I have a feeling this shade is gonna become the candlelit of Seint, which if you wear candlelit, you might understand. It's the #1 selling product we make. Candlelit is a nice neutral highlight, and it just, so many people can wear it in various ways. This one is in between Candlelit and Sandy. So Candlelit, let's see, this is Candlelit, and this, oh my gosh, this way. This one's Sandy, this one's Candlelit, okay? This one is right in between the two. with the same undertones, which is the key, because we have another shade in between the two, which is amber, but this one's more neutral. And so a lot of people that find amber too warm, this is gonna be their jam. I'm excited to try it. It's too light for me, but I'm gonna make it work. So we're gonna at least attempt to make it work. So Athens, did I say that? Athens is the shade. I have a feeling a lot of you guys are going to want to try this one. If you have questions at all or needing a color match to see if one of these is the right option for you, my color match request will be down in the caption below the video. I'll try to put it in the comment as well, see if I can link it there. And that way you guys can let me know if you want a new match. You can tell me what you're currently wearing, and that also helps me determine if it's going to be a good option for you. But truly, based on swatches alone, I think I'm gonna be able to make this work for my face. But again, the longer I have to recommend this for clients and troubleshoot with clients for these shades, the more I'm gonna learn about them. And so I'll be honest, right now, I'm still experimenting, which is what it takes to learn these shades. Lots of experimentation and finding some clients that can wear it, and so they can show me or tell me their thoughts and all that jazz. Okay, so I actually usually never swatch highlights, and I have made it kind of like a rule of mine in the past, because when I swatch a highlight, first of all, it looks similar to what it looks like in the 10, and we all know if it looks that dark on your skin, then you're applying way too much. These are highly pigmented. So I tend to never swatch because I don't want people thinking, oh, that looks great, but then you get it and it's very different when you actually apply it in the correct manner, which is very little. It's not gonna look on your skin like it does on a swatch. So I don't share swatches of highlight shades for that very reason. But I wanna show you guys the differences between these colors so that you can kind of see based on what you might have. And if you're in this kind of range, you might know if it's an option before just having to reach out and be like, could I even wear that? So I'm going to do a little bit of comparison swatches. Please take them with a grain of salt that this is not what it's going to look like on the skin. And you will know that if you're wearing one of the shades I compare it to, hopefully. Okay. So I don't want a lot of questions about that, but I just wanted to make that clear, okay? All right, first let's start with the darkest. This is Fiji. Okay, and I completely didn't think that this is my swatch arm. When I got these permanent bracelets, we were given them as a gift at our very first night leadership event, and they're always gonna be in the way. Dang it. And that's a curling iron burn from me trying to get ready really fast in between every event, which is not easy. It was nonstop. So let's just roll with it. Okay, do you see how pretty that tone is? I'm going to not do heavy swatches. I want to really be able to show you guys more realistically what it would look like on the skin, especially if you're not this highlight and you're not gonna get matched to it. What a pretty light depth it can give. Okay, and then we're gonna get some Muse next to it. So these are about the same depth, different undertones, and obviously it's gonna be hard to get perfect amounts of each on my finger when I spread it out like this. This is why we do heavy swatches. Okay, so you can kind of tell it's about the same depth, just a little bit warmer. You might not be able to tell too much. Okay, so it's gonna take me forever to remember these names. Fiji and Muse, okay? Now let's go with Nutmeg. It's gonna take me forever. I don't know why I cannot remember this one's name for the life of me. So Nutmeg I'm very excited about because so I didn't have Goddess with me to swatch it next to, but I did have Mango. So you guys know I'm a big fan of Mango. Oh my gosh, there's like nothing in this one. I need to get mine out. Okay, So I'm just gonna do a little bit heavier since you won't be able to see it on my arm otherwise. There's Mango. The next darkest shade is Goddess. But I want you to look at the difference in undertones. So just because you're a little bit darker than Mango does not mean I give you Goddess necessarily. Okay, they have very different undertones. So this Nutmeg is supposed to be one darker than Goddess. But I feel like, do you see how much more yellow Goddess is than this? I feel like Mango looks so cool on my arm when most people are like, Mango's orange. It's not. It's truly not. When you get them into these darker, they usually tend to go warmer. But Goddess is a little bit more yellow in comparison to this one. Nutmeg. Now Papaya is one of my favorite color correctors of all time. And I feel like it's the undertones that make something a good color corrector. I feel like Papaya and Nutmeg are very similar in undertone, unlike Goddess. I'll be honest, I don't feel like Goddess color corrects very well. And I tend to skip it sometimes depending on somebody's skin. But I feel like that's gonna be money. So I'm very excited and I am literally gonna try it to color correct. So just because I'm nowhere near that shade doesn't mean I can't try it, because I'm gonna experiment, which is the first thing I tell my girls when they sign up as an artist. You try every single highlight shade on your face. I don't care if you're nowhere near it, you have to try it, because how are you gonna know what it looks like if it's wrong or right? So I'm gonna try it today. We're gonna see what happens, all right? I have a feeling it's gonna be amazing at color correction. Just have a gut feeling. So, all right, the next one is Athens. I know this one's gonna be popular. I don't even have to, I mean, I'm so convinced people are gonna freak over this shade. Okay, so I wanna show you Candlelit and Sandy, and Saint Corporate told us it's in between the two. And I think that's kind of obvious. The great thing about it is this is a neutral shade. And if you don't know, Candlelit and Sandy are the only other two neutral shades. In my opinion, as an artist, I know every artist has different opinions, but based on years of working with these highlights, they're neutral, okay? So Amber, on the other hand, I believe is gonna be similar in depth, but this one's warm. Okay, so I'm gonna just swatch them down my arm, kind of like I did those. Let's see if I can go on this side where you can see it a little bit better since they're lighter. First, we've got Sandy. Now, Sandy is my current main shade, but I never use it without Mango. Okay, so you can tell. It's very neutral. You can kind of tell how it looks ashy on my arm because my arm is warmer than that, which is why I have to use a warm shade under it. So that's Sandy. So then it would be Athens. Oh my gosh, where did I swatch that? I feel like it looks so much lighter, probably because I swatched too much. This is, again, why it's hard to compare. Okay, and then I'm gonna go in with Amber, which I think is gonna be its comparison. Okay, and you're gonna be able to see that they're gonna be about the same depth, just different undertone. Do you see how much more gray this one looks and less gray this one looks? That's because on my arm, which is warm from my self tanner, it will pull gray if your color is too cool for you, meaning it's too neutral for my arm. Okay, but you can kind of see how similar they are. They're just a touch different. And I know how hard it is to see these things in the tens, and so that's why I just kind of wanted to give you guys a heads up. If you are near Amber, or you wear Mango Candlelit or Mango Sandy, and you get darker or lighter and your skin changes, Athens might be one of those colors that's going to be an option for you now that we never had before. Because amber usually is not a good color to wear under mango because it tends to pull too warm. So there's Candlelit. See, you can tell how much more white pigment it has. It's lighter in color. You can barely see Sandy here. So Sandy, Athens, Amber, Candlelit. Gosh, that looks horrible. That burn looks, ugh. Sorry guys. So I hope that kind of gave you an idea about color, a little bit about undertone, which I tend to not talk a whole lot about because I don't want to confuse people. As an artist, it's one of the first things I look for in somebody's face, but I know it can be very confusing. A lot of people know their undertones, or think they know their undertones, but they might not be entirely accurate because traditional makeup is very different than ours. Ours is all yellow based to some degree, and so it can look very different. And we all know if you apply too much, it can pull more like it does in the 10, and it shouldn't look like that on your skin. Okay, so now that we got through our swatches, that's the new colors. I'm gonna show you, and we're just gonna try it. And then I'm gonna show you the other new items that are coming after I do my face real quick. All right, let's do this. All right. Whew, I'm a little nervous about this. I'm gonna pick up the blend brush because it will pick up very little product. Now, my idea for trying this shade on myself is that, yes, mango works to color correct, but sometimes it will still show, you can tell this is the darkest point of my face. Sometimes it will show that through it. Now, I showed the technique numerous times on how to then go up to papaya and then mango and then your main. And I can get that to work with some strategy and technique. But a lot of times people are like, well, but papaya is too dark and mango's too light for this spot. I really think that nutmeg is going to be your new best friend. So I'm going to use a little bit on this spot right here. And again, with this makeup, you guys know, it's all about amounts. If you apply too much of any shade, it's not going to be right. So light hand. Okay. Now I'm just going to go ahead and use this end, and my brushes are clean. I just washed them all again. And I'm just going to use the big end to just lightly kind of wash. Now I know that this Athens shade is too light for me. So this shade will pull me too dark, but with the right amounts, I think I can still stay matching using this combo. Does that make sense? And because of these undertones, I really think that this one's going to color correct really well. But again, I'm not gonna know until I try it. And I've never tried it on my face. You guys can just experiment along with me. If it looks horrible, it looks horrible. But I don't think these are gonna be my new shades or anything, but you know what? Before I'd ever tried mango, I thought it was crazy to ever try it, and look at me now. So sometimes right after I self-tan, my nose pulls a little textured, even with mango. So this might be good for my nose. My nose is so dark, and I have this like huge pet peeve with texture. So don't want to increase texture. That's why I match the darkest points in my face first. It's the only way I can stay matching. You can tell my face is much darker than my neck, so I'm gonna have to layer. Okay, so still going light hand, darkest points. And this is way lighter than I usually apply my mango, but it's also 2 shades darker. If that tells you anything. Okay, now I'm gonna go back in with this small end, which is much more dense, but I'm still trying to be real light-handed because these are brand new creams. They're super creamy. Sometimes that can make it a little bit harder. I'm gonna go in and I'm just gonna press on a little bit more. And I don't know, it might not color correct as good as Mango for me. It truly, I feel like a color corrector depends on your specific depth and tone of what you're using it on. Okay, and then you can tell I still have some really light areas in my face. When I finish my face, I don't want this like light coming out. I know I'm gonna look real dark, but I'm gonna use this color to almost like a toner. Similar to if you ever have seen somebody tone with Demi, which is like such a light hand, you shouldn't really be able to see it. You should just see the white kind of fade away. And it's similar to how I use Mango on a daily basis around my eyes. Since my eyes are so yellow, so light and white, do you see how much lighter the under eye is than the rest of my face? That's caused from all this being darker. All this is hyperpigmentation, my rosacea, my entire nose being darker. So yeah, the skin around my eyes, even though I've got depth and purple and things that need color correcting, I mainly use Mango as like toning the area. I'm adding some color to it so it will stop being so much contrast between the skin under my eye and this darker part of my face. And so it will kind of blur into the background when you just add a little bit of color to it. So I'm gonna do the same thing. And again, I'm still sticking with this brush because look at that. I barely touched it. It won't take much at all. I just need to kind of knock that contrast down a level or two. And I saw a lot of people talking about using a bronzer for this and different things at conference. You can use a Demi Colour, anything that adds, it's gonna be a darker pigment. It can work. I am all for not using additional colors in my everyday palette if I don't need to. And if I already need a color to correct darker points in my face, why add an additional color when my corrector can do the same thing? And so when I match people, I'm always taking that into account. I don't want you to have to buy additional shades if you don't need to. So I'm using the same color, does the same thing. And it has the added benefit of adding more coverage, whereas our bronzers are very sheer pigment. They really don't add coverage. These can build up coverage. Okay, once I'm semi-evened, which I feel like I still don't look even at all, but you know, it's getting there. Definitely have more coverage. Then I'm gonna go back in, I'm gonna press on a little bit, just where I'm darker. So I kind of toned that area of the eye. Now I'm gonna press on the same shade, Nutmeg, into the darkest, which are usually these inner corners here. I think it does pretty well for purple and blue tones, which I figured it would. This shade just seems so much warmer than Goddess. Less yellow, more warm. Again, first impression, guys. And obviously, I'm gonna see how this wears too. Okay, so once and I feel like I did pretty good. I kept that pretty light-handed. Like, I don't feel like I'm pulling a lot darker than my neck. A little bit, but not a whole lot. So once you get all of your points, feel like they're really corrected. I'm gonna go over Just press on a little bit more. I am so curious to see if this is gonna completely cover my spot or not. Cause I will be real, it got so much darker after conference. My rosacea got worse, heat. And I didn't have all my skincare with me. All right, let's try Athens. So I'm gonna pick up the blush bronzer and we're just gonna go for it. This is very creamy and I'm gonna do the exact same technique I do on a daily basis, which is I'm gonna press on this shade to tone down the warmth, keep me matching, and build up my coverage. I'm gonna try not to over apply this because I know it can wash me out since it's obviously, look how much lighter that is. I don't know if I'll need a brightener with this, honestly. We're gonna see. Oh gosh, I applied way too much. You see that? Ooh, let's work on that. It's toning down the warmth a lot. I'm gonna have to add it back with that third shade. I kind of over applied. I keep forgetting that these are not, this is not a dry. I'm used to tapping in to my much drier shades, so. Always remember when you have brand new or you just melted down your creams and you have clean brushes, because I also had cleaned my brushes, clean brushes will also pick up more products. So it's kind of like a double whammy. New brushes, new creams, which kind of sucks because as a newbie, you have no idea how much to add. Okay, I'm gonna switch back to this brush and getting smaller areas. Not bad. I feel a little washed out, which I kind of figured I would, just because this is, I guess it's just one shade lighter, but that's okay. Before I contour, I'm gonna go ahead and add back some warmth and I'm gonna try Fiji. So let's go in. Again, this is a highlight shade. It's not a bronzer. Our bronzers are very sheer and our highlights are not. They're very pigmented. So I'm going to really lightly try to get this over the entire surface head of this brush so I'm not depositing a bunch of pigment all in one spot. This is also going to give coverage. So unlike our bronzers, which I'll be honest, I don't consider them to give much coverage, they do kind of can give inner warmth if you put them underneath your highlights, and they can kind of give you the effect where you don't feel like you need to apply as much highlight. But in all actuality, they do not give coverage, in my opinion, and last like the highlights do. So this is going to add back some warmth and it will cover these areas as well. But you just want to be very swirly with your brush, which is why I took it out so I didn't get this all over my new compact. Oh, that's pretty. I might have to put this next to my Bella. So I used to have Muse Glow Illuminator and Bella bronzer all in a row. which I'm sure you guys have seen a million times. And I swirl into all of them. And then I switched it out with Heat Waves, which is the newest dark bronzer. So let's do a little comparison. This is a heavier swatch of Fiji. Oh gosh, that is, our bronzers are much creamier as well. So you barely tap it and you get way too much. Okay. That is Heat Waves. So if you've tried Heat Waves and you're like, that's too red undertoned, it gives more of that like inner, I don't want to say sunburn, but all tans have an underlying amount of warmth to them, which is what makes them look natural. This one's going to be a little bit more of a subdued bronze. Now I got to swatch it next to Bella. Okay, now this one looks lighter because I evened it out. Okay, Bella, Fiji, Heat Waves, if that helps. If you're one that's like, I can't see Bella because it is so sheer, I bet you'd be able to see this one. Just be careful first time you use it. It's a great way to add more coverage to areas too, though. Like I'm starting to feel bronzy again. Look at that. Told you guys I could make it work. Bet you thought I was crazy. Okay, I'm just gonna contour and then I'll show you the lip and cheek. Now, since I added all this warmth, I'm gonna stick with my cool contour. I think indigo would pull too warm in combination because it's a warm contour. So, Astoria for the win. Okay, I'm debating if I want to brighten or not. Should I try it? I honestly don't feel like I need it that much, but okay. So Aura is my normal brightener. It is technically 2 down from Athens. Normally it's 3 away from my normal shades, so it will be probably a little bit more subtle, but also the closer you are to your main shade, the better it will sit on the skin. So if you tend to have issues with texture, then sometimes you got to go a little closer and only go 2 away. I rarely give 1 away. I feel like that doesn't, it doesn't give enough of a differentiation that you can even tell the difference between the two. Because again, you're not applying these at full opacity to the skin. If you are, they'll look like chalk, especially if you're at my skin tone. It should be a nice, subtle, natural brightening. Not like you've applied too much. We are avoiding chalk face. Even though I'm using a shade too light, I see no texture because I matched the darkest points of my face first with that darker shade. Now, if I was to go in straight with that shade, it would look so bad. It's all the combination. Hopefully I convinced you guys. So good. Okay. Now, I would never layer without this bad boy. So we're going to perfect before we blush so I don't take off any excess of my lip and cheek color. Okay, I'm just going to strategically build up a little bit more. Yes, I'm using the smudge brush of both the corrector, Nutmeg, and then Athens, the main. Magical. And then anywhere else I have darker spots. Blemishes. Okay. See if I can find my powder. Wiggle. Press. Oh my gosh, I did not even blend my nose contour, guys. Oops. Before we lock that into place, now we can powder. Oh my gosh, keep tipping into eyeshadows. These are all the colors I took to conference. Okay. Because I wanted to show you guys a cool trick for eyes as well with this balm. Okay, let's do blush real quick. So this is Wildflower. I didn't swatch it next to anything comparable. Let's see, what would be, so these are the shades I took with, this is Pink Lemonade. So you can see that it's a little bit lighter. They call it peachy pink. I feel like it's definitely more on the pink side than, like, this is Maui, which is definitely more on the peach side. Let's see, where are my lip and cheeks? Let's see what I can find would be the closest. Kind of reminds me, my first thought was a matte version of Candy, and I'm pretty darn close. It's a little bit lighter than Candy. It's got more pigment than Carousel for sure. So I'd say that would be the closest. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and apply this. Now, since this is a cool shade, if it pulls too cool on you, this is definitely one of those, I would say, if it pulls too cool and looks chalky in any way, then you put a little bronzer over it, or that Fiji. And I think it's not on me because I've got a lot of Fiji on that area. So a little added warmth goes a long way with these cooler tones, if you have warm undertones like I do. Like, I just can't wear cool shades as easily as I can wear warm shades. Okay, and then instead of using an illuminator, I'm gonna use that Balm. So that was one of the cool things about this, whoa gosh, I'm digging my finger in it. Balm is that it can kind of like add moisture anywhere, like your lips, or it can also just add a little bit of glow to your skin. So if you feel like you look dry anywhere, And at first I was kind of bummed that it didn't smell like coconuts because coconut is my favorite. But I'm going to show you why. So if you like, do you guys remember when we had Solstice? It was in like a tub and it was just a pale pink, but it didn't really show how much color payoff. And I showed all the ways we could use that. This reminds me of that. But I like it more because we can put it in our palette. Like I loved that, but I forget to use it. I forget to use it because it's in this tub thing. So it's very similar in that respect. No shimmer, just adds a little bit of that moisture to the skin. That one really had no pink payoff, but you could totally mix these two. Whoops, to get a little bit of a natural pink lip. Again, cool lips aren't the best on me, so I'm going to use a warmer shade like our suede lip liner to define them and give a little bit of warmth back to my lips. So Balm is great. You can use it with any of our satin or matte lip colors. You guys know I can't stand that feeling of mattes on my lips. So Balm is going to let me layer or mix any of those shades to give me more hydration. And if you have any lip colors that make your lips look dry, I feel like this hydrates just far better, at least mine personally, the lip conditioners ever did. So doesn't look dry, even though that shade is way lighter than my lips. As long as I don't apply too much and I apply it with the balm, or just put it in the center of your lip with a different color, and you should be golden. Got my brows done real fast. Let's do eyes, shall we? So I'm gonna start with I've already got my eyes prepped and powdered and all that jazz. I just need a little bit of definition, so I'm gonna go in with my Ride or Die Bubba. I have this thing about pinks with warm browns. I don't know what it is, but anytime I use pink, if I try to use anything cool with it, it always looks off on me. But I love the combo of pink and warmth. It's like my favorite. So I'm just gonna give a little bit of definition to my eye, carve out my crease. So I'm going in pretty heavy with Bubba. Well, I say heavy because mine is, I gotta swirl in because the middle of my Bubba is gone. I use it a lot. Okay, same thing under the eyes. We're gonna halo with Bubble. Guys, I'm surprised I can talk so well, considering I have not been able to make a coherent sentence since being back. It takes me usually a good week to recover from all that social interaction. I am an introvert. Talking to a camera is one thing, talking to people is another. And it was a very emotional conference this year for some reason. In a good way, but still. I'm also not a crier, and I cried more this in one day than I had in the past year. So there's that. All right, so they showed this at conference when they announced Balm, and they showed mixing it to create cream eyeshadows. And I admit the first thought I had was, why had I not thought about that yet? What the heck? How did I not think about trying that? So then I was mad at myself. So I'm gonna take a little bit of Balm with my fingernail. I'm just gonna like use the back of my hand and a little bit of shadow. I don't know, I'm kind of dying to try Tawanda. I'm gonna scrape a little bit off because I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm just gonna play with it. Okay, so I just kind of mixed a little bit. I scraped a little bit off with my finger. I don't know if you can even see that. With my fingernail, I just mixed it right into the balm. And I'm just gonna kind of use my finger, tap in. This probably wasn't the best color to show you because I don't think it's gonna show up very much on camera. Maybe I need to use something darker and richer, but the premise is you can make like a cream shadow. And so it just kind of opened up so many possibilities. I'm like, like all of them. Let's see, what would show up more? I should probably do the other eye so it's at least kind of even before I start layering it up. Maybe I need to, I thought pink, but I feel like pink's not gonna show up very much. I actually really like this because it looks super natural and it just kind of catches the light with a little glow. You know, you guys know I love glow. Oh man. Maybe I should just try a little bit of a darker shade and see what happens. So I tend to not use this shade on my lid a whole lot because it can close off my eye pretty easily, but let's just try it. Okay, take two. A little bit more. This is Cranberry. I'm gonna stick to the corner. Oh gosh, a lot of that came off. So I don't like ruin the center of my shadow. Gosh, it looks so rich, like. Okay, so I just have a little bit of balm, a little bit of shadow, and I'm just gonna mix and incorporate the two. So pretty. It adds like this whole nother level of sheen because it's cream. Duh, Sarah. My gosh, this might be dangerous. I'm like, what else can I use this for? Okay, hopefully you guys can see that more. Hopefully the pictures will show you how it catches the light because it gives you kind of that glossy lid. Do you see how like it just catches the light differently? Then let me show you. And it makes the pigment almost look richer. Okay, so there's the swatch and there's the cream. It just, do you see how much richer and darker? Beautiful. Okay, so they were showing all the ways you can use balm and create your own cream shadows, and they showed it with some really dark shades, and I'm like, oh my gosh, that looks beautiful. So there you go. There's a little cranberry. Let's finish off the eye because I feel like now that I went darker, I need some liner. Another quick tip, if you like to brighten your inner corners here or under your brows, but you feel like maybe that shadow doesn't stay, balm that up too. So I'm just gonna put a little bit of balm right on that inner corner, and it will give you a subtle sheen if you want that, but it also gives your eyeshadow something to stick to. So then when you press on your eyeshadow, it will stay even longer and it's gonna give you more of a pop. You see that? Oh yeah. Love it. Okay, friends, I'm talking too long per usual, but it's not over yet. My face is done. And I finished off with like a little butterscotch and Coco to line, Soulmate inner corners underbrow, mascara, little eyeliner. There you go. So let's talk about the other new goodies because we're not done yet. My favorite, I'm most excited about this. I'll be honest, part of it is because of the packaging. And I also think like there's no woman who would not want this for Mother's Day. Maybe it's just me, but I feel like fragrances are always a good idea for gifts, right? Especially if you have no idea what they like, they can have options. So this is the new fragrance collection. The box itself, I'm obsessed with. When we move, should be any day now, this will be behind me in my office forever. I'm obsessed with this. Is that not the cutest packaging ever? Okay, so we have 5 new fragrances. I've said this time and time again, I suck at scents and describing them, but they did put description, or they will, when they're released on Friday, this Friday, 10 a.m. Mountain Standard. But I went ahead and, okay, this is the set with all of them. I went ahead and sprayed each. I'm gonna talk about the description, how I would describe them, even though I suck at describing scents. They are all in this little spray bottle. They're not roller balls, they're sprays, so you can like spritz them in your hair, on your pillowcase, all that kind of stuff. And there are 5. They're all gonna be available individually as well as in this set, which I think this set is what I would say is perfect for a gift. Okay, I'm going to read you what they say description-wise for each of these, since I suck. And then I'm gonna smell them. Again, I just sprayed each one on a piece of paper so I could be like, so I'm not like smelling them all at the same time, you know? First up is Red Apple and Raspberry Blossom. It says featuring lively apple notes with raspberry bloom, jasmine, rose. This scent is supported by sugar, musk, and amber undertones. Ooh. See, sometimes when they dry down, they smell different and better. So when I first sprayed this, I felt like I could smell the fruit, like must have been the apple and raspberry. Oh man, but I really like it much more now. It's not heavily floral. I think it's the musk and amber I can smell, which I'm a big fan with that like fruity top note. I sound like all official. I'm not. I actually really like this. Okay, I'm gonna try to do it in order. We're gonna see. I actually really like that. The only one I'd sprayed at conference was the one that they described as the lightest. And if you get headaches, because I am one that does get headaches with scents. And so obviously I'm gonna have to wear each one on a different day and test them. But I wore this one, it didn't give me a headache. And I definitely feel like everyone that used it said it smelled differently on every person. And that is actually how it's described. So it's called Familiar and Ethereal. That's a mouthful. This unique and personal fragrance is meant to enhance your natural pheromones. It works with your body to create a scent tailored just for you. Yeah, it smells completely different on this than it did on me. It's very light, and I honestly cannot even tell you what is in it. But I'd say it's the lightest of the bunch. I don't know, it just smells good and clean. But again, it's gonna smell different on everyone, so I do like that. I do like it a lot. Okay, but I do remember when I put it on myself, it smelled differently than that, but I liked it. The next one is Sweet Vanilla and Jasmine. This sweet scent has notes of vanilla, caramel, sugared amber, and toasted marshmallow. Ooh. Hints of bergamot, is that how you say it? Orange blossom, jasmine, and rose. This one smells different now too. Okay, I can smell, it smells sweet. It definitely smells sweet, but it has that underlying floral. It doesn't smell straight up like vanilla though, and I thought it would because I like vanilla scents, but this one's very unique. I guess it's that mix with all the floral. I have a feeling my daughter's gonna like this. The caramel, amber, marshmallow. It's really good, but it doesn't smell so sweet that it's like, ew. Oh, that one's good too. Gosh, how am I gonna like put these in order? Okay, give me a minute. Okay, this next one is easy for me to describe. It smells beachy, for sure. That's because it's coconut and macadamia. Warm, beachy fragrance, hints of peach, jasmine, rich coconut, creamy macadamia nut, wrapped in a layer of vanilla and musk. You can smell the coconut. You can smell the vanilla. I can smell a little musk. Yeah, beachy. It totally smells like you smell it and you're like, suntan oil and beach. And yeah, so if you like beachy fragrances, you're gonna like the coconut one. Okay, and then the last one, amber and white musk. Simple and sweet profile of amber, touch of wood, floral, and refreshing citrus notes. This smells so much like one of our other ones. Is that like the same thing? It's, you know where you smell something and it like takes you back to that, and I'm like, it smells like one of the other solid perfumes we have. Whatever the amber one is, that's what I smell. It might just be that amber is the high note. Is that what you call it? Oh, it's good. It smells just like that though. So if you like that one, you're gonna like it. Okay, gosh, I'm gonna try. I don't know if I should even attempt to put these in order, but yeah, because they're all starting to smell alike. Where's my coffee beans? You know, when you're like trying to smell. Yeah, that one smells just like the other one. Now I'm gonna have to find, I think my sniffer has officially stopped working. I'm gonna look it up. I know there's another amber scent. Yeah, it smells just like that to me. I feel like the vanilla and jasmine is also very light. Man, I keep going back to this red apple and raspberry blossom, and I honestly thought that that would be the last one I'd like. I think it's because it smells a little sweet, a little floral, and a little amber musky. Like, it's just different. I think that's gonna be my top choice. Now, I'm gonna have to try them all on myself. I really like the familiar one too. I think that one's really cool and unique. Like, it's like I can't put my finger on what it smells like, which I like those kind of things. So I'm gonna say the red apple, then the familiar. Man, every time I smell the amber white musk, it just smells exactly like the other scent. I think I've been wearing that for so long. I'm like, And then I'd say the sweet vanilla and the coconut. I'm not a beach girl really, but it smells really good. Okay, those are my thoughts. I am really excited to try all these and have some cool options. And this would make, is that not pretty? I don't even want to take them out of the box. They're so cute. All right. One more, I think. One more. And then maybe a possible another one I'm going to share, even though they did not tell us it was getting released. Okay. So you guys know we've had this brush cleaner. It's gone through numerous different names. Restore. And then it was Houdini. And now it's just the Seint brush cleaner. Washes your, oh my gosh, I'm almost out. Washes your brushes. You don't have to soap and water clean them. Sanitizes, all that stuff. But I also tell my clients that over time, you're going to want to do deep cleans of your brushes so you don't get a buildup. And what I notice is it's the people who maybe suffer with acne and so they're washing their brushes really often. Like, you don't have to wash your brushes with this after every use. You really don't. If you do, you almost get like this oily buildup on your bristles that can make them feel a little greasy. And when that happens, I'm always like, you need to do a deep clean, soap and water clean. Can you guys guess what it is? Ignore the package because I couldn't get all the wrapper off, but we now have a brush soap. This is the deep clean, and it is the cutest packaging I've ever seen in my life. Guys, I'm a sucker for black on black. It opens. It smells so clean and fresh. It is tea tree scented because that is what makes this antibacterial. The brush cleaner is alcohol based. So it is literally alcohol that's killing the bacteria on your brushes. There's no alcohol in this. So if you're sensitive to something like that, looking at the ingredients, you could put this on your face. It's glycerin and tea tree oil, okay? If you have an allergy to tea tree, which I don't think is very common, but then you wouldn't be able to use it. But otherwise, it smells like tea tree. There's no added fragrance. So I know a lot of people say, when are you going to come out with a brush cleaner that's unscented because the smell is too strong for me? I get it. This has no fragrance. It's just tea tree oil that gives it the smell. It smells really clean and fresh. So it has this one's so cool. Look at that. Can you see the Seint? Oh, is it not the cutest thing? You guys, this is the stuff that makes me giddy. Look at the Seint embossed on it. Okay, so all it is a solid soap. Okay, it's gonna last you a long time, by the way. You get it wet, okay? Just put a little bit of water on it. You're going to swirl your brush into here to get some soap on it. And then you're gonna put this on your finger and you're gonna swirl your bristles on this. It's like silicone rubbery to get off all the gunk. Then you can rinse this. You can rinse this off. Rinse your brushes, lay flat on the edge of the countertop to dry overnight. Okay, this is going to keep your brushes. Our brushes, I've been an artist for almost 6 years. I've never had a brush that got destroyed on me because I take care of them. If you take care of them, they're an investment and they're going to last you forever. So this is one way to do that. This is the new brush soap is the name of it. Okay, so I'm going to share this next one with you, even though they told us it was not, they didn't tell us if it was or wasn't releasing. It came in our swag bag, but I remember last time we had a reunion in our swag bag, they then released that product. And I've been with Seint long enough to know when something is packaged for resale. And it might not be on Friday, but I really think this is going to be coming because the way it's packaged. So it just looks like it is. It looks like it's for resale. I don't know if it's coming, so bear with me if it doesn't. And if it doesn't ever, I'm really sorry, but I would be shocked if it doesn't. The way this is embossed, and it's got to be. It says a silk collection. Pillowcase, hair tie, and headband. Anti-aging, silk is absorbent, allowing skin to stay hydrated, hypoallergenic, reduces bedhead, anti-static, sleep wrinkles, the whole 9. The way that there's like Seint on all of this, I would be floored if it wasn't. I'm obsessed with the color. It's like the perfect champagne. Whoop. It's beautiful. So my daughter's already wanting to steal the scrunchie. And look at that headband. Is that not so pretty? I want to put it on, but I don't want to get makeup on it. It's so pretty. So silk headband, the scrunchie, and then I believe somebody told me this was a queen pillowcase. Is that right? I don't know. It almost looks standard. Anyway, let's see if it says on the label. It doesn't say. But the fact that everything has our logo, guys, I will be shocked if it's not released. Maybe it's gonna be a Mother's Day thing. Mother's Day's coming up, right? So I know for a fact the highlights, lip and cheek, balm, compacts, perfume, brush cleaner are all gonna be released this Friday, 10 a.m. Mountain Standard. So that is April 21st, 2023. If this does, I'll be very excited. If it doesn't, I will keep you updated. But oh man, it just went on my arm and I just got highlight all over it. I swear. Story of my life. 100% mulberry silk. It's beautiful. Now I'm gonna have to wash it anyway, but I wanted to show you guys that just in case it did come out and you're like, Sarah, what is that? That would also make a really great gift. So fingers crossed it all drops. All right, there you go. There is the newest shades, and hopefully I convinced you that you can wear numerous colors depending on your application method. I feel like it looks even better than I expected. I don't know, maybe I will start wearing these shades. So if you are needing a color match, you're interested in knowing if one of these shades will work for you, in my color match request, you can tell me what shades you're currently wearing. If you're having any issues, that will help tell me if you do need to shade up or down or anything like that. And so all of these are gonna be released on Friday, and I'm really excited for you guys to get your hands on them. I hope this helped. And as always, thank you guys so much for being here and watching. I'll see you next week. Love you. Bye.